Alright, so you'll have to excuse me because I just had my surgery and I'm still recovering, as you can see, and I still gotta do the other one, so I got some wacky eyelids. As you may know, or not know, I'm a developer of a Super Smash Bros. Fan game called Super Smash Flash. Been working on it for like 9-10 years. It's a lot of fun. I really like working on it. But as of late, there's been some stuff going on, like I feel like it started out as something small and now it's just something so ridiculously big and like so just blown out of proportion, and like some stuff just doesn't even make sense. So I feel like as one of the bigger names in the community that I have an opportunity to kind of clear some things up. So let's get started. I don't know if you guys know, maybe you do, but Mac, Future Mac, whatever you want to call him, made a kind of like a series of roast videos, and like pretty much everyone that I've seen has been like based off of, like, I don't know, I feel like he's just like either roasting someone with no reason, just making shit up, or 3, just saying stuff that's like not a thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like he'll like take something and like twist it into something else just to like prove his point, and I'm not really about that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play you a couple of Max videos, and we're gonna pause every time one of those 3 things happens, and we're gonna talk about it, because we got some things to talk about, I think.
SSF2 might die. And listen, I'm not saying the community will die out because people stop supporting it. I mean, most literally, it might die. Somewhere further down the line, SSF2 will have so much content that Flash will no longer be able to support its content. Meaning, SSF2 will have to move completely from the site to a launcher version.
Okay, actually, I didn't catch this the first time I watched it. So, no. Flash is not gonna get overloaded, per se. Like, the amount of information is not a problem, but he explains the actual problem later. But no, I don't think we'll get to a point where, unless we're trying to like do 60 frames per second or something, we're fine in Flash. Actually, Flash is well suited for the type of work that we do. I don't think I can show it on stream, but the way that we work on SSF2 is really incredible. Like, I really don't think any other language can support us working the way that we do. We have our sprites like in a box, and then we'll have like all of the frames at the bottom, and you can like pick a frame of the attack and like see it reflect up at the top. So you'll see, you know, like the first frame of the punch, and then the next frame, and then over here you'd have a little box that has like all of your code, and you can edit the code while seeing the frame of the like moving character and being able to go back and forth. It's really, really awesome. We showed it in our SmashCon panel, if you guys were there. But if you work in any other language, it's a big mess, like just language, just code all the way down, and you don't know what you're editing unless you cross-reference, open up another window of another piece of software to look at the frames, and then you like move over, and then you're like, okay, move over here, okay, frame 5, okay, change this one thing, then you got to save that file, you got to save this file, and then you got to it's just a mess. It's just way too much. So the way that we work is really optimized for the language, and that's why we like Flash so much. Like, there's not another language that works that way. Anyway,
For those of you who don't know, Greg actually quit his job to pursue game development. It's not like he'd be screwed if SSF2...
okay, so this piece of information, I wish we would have showed it, but it came from the AMA, the Ask Me Anything, that was run last week, I think. Cloud is really passionate about game development as a whole, and he wants it to lead to like bigger things, and I think most of the people on the team feel the same way. So, yeah.
He went down because he could just find another job.
So he wouldn't want to find another job, basically, is what I was getting at. I forgot what my point was, but that's what it is.
But for us, SSF2 would stop. No more updates, no more online mode, and probably a lot further down the line after the fact, no YouTube videos.
So this is a chain reaction. It would start with, first of all, let's say it's 2020, right? And Flash is no longer able to run in Chrome, not able to run in Internet Explorer. It starts with, obviously, us not being able to run the game on McLeodGaming.com anymore. McLeod Gaming has a 500 megabyte game that is played by, at its peak, 1 million people in one day. Like, let's just put that into perspective. So it's not cheap to run a website, like, from the get-go, but if you're throwing up a file that big and it's downloaded by that many people, like, it makes it that much more expensive, to the point where even right now, according to the AMA, it's not making money, it's losing money, like, a lot. It's not sustainable. So without other revenue streams, it's not, the money's coming out of our pocket. So when you wonder why updates take so long, maybe it's because, one, when the update comes out, it's going to cost a lot of money for us to send it to all of you. Two, we have to work to get the money to pay for the servers when the update comes out. So just to put that into perspective.
A lot of people like to give the developers crap and are not really supportive or care about the devs too much. But guys, this is our problem too. Whatever becomes of the devs will affect SSF2. If they don't have the money to support SSF2 anymore, well, there will be no more SSF2. It's just...
So, this is kind of true, kind of not. We love working on SSF2. Obviously, we've been doing it for 10 years. But you have to also understand that, again, when it's losing so much money and the community is where it is right now, it's not really rewarding anymore. Like, we'll get into it later. Like, some of you guys are awesome, obviously, but I feel like now it's the majority that are causing problems. That's something that I feel like really affects the I don't know, like, the longevity. Like, if it's not fun to do, like, what's the point? Kind of. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this in the first place. So we can talk it out. We can talk about what we can do to make things better. Let's talk about Jam Fury. So how many of you, since I have 35 people? Oh, I have 40 people. Okay. Hello. Since I have 40 people in here, just type yeah if you've bought Jam Fury, because I'm curious. I'm honestly curious. Cool. So there's 6 out of the 40 people that are watching right now bought it. Which, I mean, that's not that bad. But you have to also take into consideration, one, hopefully you would like the game, assuming that the game was made by people who spent 10 years on a game that you really like. You probably would like it, considering, same developers, same design philosophy. It's a different genre. I get if you don't like puzzle platforming games, like, I get it. So that's why the lower number, like, doesn't really bother me that much. But you also have to understand that, again, if the site is losing money and SSF2 is a free game, you know what I mean? You kind of get what I'm getting at a little bit, just a tad, maybe. I don't know. It's honestly really fun. Hasn't gotten a lot of press, hasn't gotten a lot of, like, video attention, which we kind of expected, but not to this degree. I feel like it's just not... People would really like it, I feel like, if you paid attention to it, bought it, tried it, because it's fun. Honestly, it's Kind of like the Dark Souls of puzzle platforming games. It's really hard, challenging, and frustrating, but it's a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, I get it if you don't like puzzle platformers, but at least tell a friend. It would help us out. Yeah. So.
This is a very long and challenging platformer game that has a lot of play value, and it's definitely worth the money. My friend Bowler actually did
Oh, by the way, I streamed it for, I think it was 7 hours, and I only got halfway done. Oh.
a review on Jam Theory, and if you want to go check that out, it will be in the description below. We obviously can't give McCloud Gaming money directly to support SSF2.
Okay. So, yeah, the game's success is going to help fund the future of McCloud Gaming. That may be more SSF2, that may be other platform fighting games, who knows at this point, but yeah, Jam Fury is kind of like our first step into like being an actual indie dev and having something and being able to copyright the McCloud Gaming logo, being able to potentially afford to not have day jobs working at Panera to pay for our internet bills. Yeah, you know, maybe working for BuzzFeed, who knows? But it's the first step. It helps support SSF2 for now, and it makes it more viable long term. You just really, you never know.
Those of you who play on the launcher version, I highly recommend playing on the site version for now with AdBlock Journal. Some of you guys may think of this as a hassle, but it will help ensure the game that you love to play can stay up and keep getting updated. For those of you who actually have some cash to spend and want to support McCloud Gaming directly, they actually have another game that they have worked on. It's called Jam Fury, and it's actually on Steam right now for $12. This is a very long and challenging platformer game that has a lot of play value, and it's definitely worth the money. My friend Bowler...
The ad thing is really big. I don't know if you guys know this, but 65% of the people that browse the internet overall have ad blocking on. What is on my finger? And on mobile, obviously that's lower, but if you do just desktop users, which are I think 90% of the people that go to McCloud Gaming, because why would you go, because you can't even play through the browser, I want to say it's closer to like 85%. So we're making ad revenue on 15% of our traffic, which is just unbelievably like awful. They're like, so if you play browser, or if you don't play browser and you go on the forums or whatever, just turn off ad block from McCloudGaming.com. It's like 2 clicks. Helps us out a lot.
They actually did a review on Jam Theory, and if you want to go check that out, it will be in the description below. We obviously can't give McCloud Gaming money directly to support SSF2, but we can buy Jam Fury to support them, and also donate to their PayPal, which will help them pay for...
So the reason I would prefer that you guys support Jam Fury versus donating is, one, you can't donate on behalf of SSF2, so you have to be donating on behalf of the website, which no one really goes on the forums. That's not a good alibi. Like, you tried it though. Also, the higher in the leaderboard that Jam Fury goes, the more people will notice it naturally through just moving around on Steam, searching for random stuff, looking through categories. The more people buy it, the higher it goes on the lists, and the more people buy it. So that helps out a lot. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll have a successful enough game development career where we can work on SSF2 long term and not have to worry about money. That'd be cool. Who knows?
For servers, which I'll leave in the description. Also, if you don't already know, Adobe Flash will halt its services in the year 2020, so if the devs don't run out of space first, then Adobe Flash will make it so they can't run SSF2 on their site anymore.
This is the big one. So 2020, the browser version dies. No one goes to McCloudGaming.com for fun. Like, you don't just, I'm just gonna look at the pages. I'm kind of bored. I don't want to play anything, but I'm just gonna look at the character pages and not go on the forums and just click around 175 times. Like, no one does that. It's not a thing. So yeah, when 2020 happens, the only version that's going to be available is the downloadable, and at that point, that's really going to damper our development perspectives, because at that point it's all out of pocket money, and that's not sustainable. We'd have to either make the game way smaller or just figure out something else. Something else has to be successful. So that's one of the reasons why Yeah Jam Fury came out when it did, is because we're 2 years away from not having a browser version, and at that point it's like, oh, I'm sure we'll have to have some other project out before or very close to that 2020 cutoff date. So again, if you like our work, if you like the developers, I know I can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but if you like me, then hopefully, bless up, the next time something McLeod Gaming comes out, you can tell your friends and you can support us, and then we can continue working on the stuff that we like to work on, which are games, both free and paid. That was a great feel-good video. There was just that one thing that Flash is fine for our purposes. But I think Shady did a really good job, so definitely support him. This video got hella views. Okay, I see you. Subscribe, his content's really good. Now, on to what I originally wanted to talk about. So before I play this, I got a lot to say, so we're gonna be pausing a lot. Hope you guys are ready. But I got some things I gotta talk about, because I don't like being defamed like this. Like, I ain't trying to do all that.
It's your boy Future, man.
Why is intro so good, but his mic is so bad?
He stated at the beginning that the SF2 community...
Creds to Jamie on that one.
...tool, which in the eyes of many others, that is the exact opposite.
Okay, so, you know what, I'm a agree. Because of like this. This is why we're not thriving. Just saying.
I could be wrong that the competitive scene is the only section that's dying, but all in all, something's in peril. There have been so many...
First of all, y'all always want to talk about how we hate the competitive community and how our changes are not for the competitive community, but let's take note, one of the most sacred things to the non-competitive players are final smashes. Where have final smashes been for, oh god, how long is it? For 4 months? Where have they been? Oh wait, we're too busy trying to make the competitive players happy. Oh my oh my god. Anyway,
many people who have left the community with point threes antics or just straight up losing.
Point threes antics. Okay, so hold on. I got some things I need to do here. Because honestly, I need to see some receipts. To be honest. TBH. Like, you know, antics. He says some antics. We're going to go down the change list together. And you tell me how jank this really is. Because honestly, I want to know. If we're doing poorly, let me know. Where's word? Word. Oh god, what? Okay, we'll try this again with Notepad, I guess, because that didn't work. So, let's start at the top. Let me play that part of the video again, because I'm kind of mad. I'm a little offended.
Things in peril. There have been so many people who have left the community with point threes antics or...
Alright, now I'm mad, so I'm ready. here's a stern, wonderful example of point three's antics. Character attacks can clank projectiles, but projectiles cannot clank character attacks. This fixes issues similar to Bomberman's up special clanking with Sonic's spring, causing the recovery to move downwards. So you're telling me you would rather have Sonic use spring while Bomberman is recovering. Bomberman hits the spring, clanks, and goes down during his up special animation. You want that. Got it. Let me get right on that. Picking up items during aerials and dash attacks no longer prevents the attack from coming out. What? Oh, remember in point 2 when you would press A in the air and it would pick the item up and you wouldn't attack? So it like what fixed items lasting forever on the ground. So you would rather have Pac-Man Z-drop an item and it just sit there until the end of the game, or until someone picks it up and throws it. You're telling me. Actually, can I have some thoughts on this? So, Bandana D, high tier or low tier? I'm listening. Oh, I got noise canceling headphones on. I'm listening. Low tier, low tier, low tier, high tier, low, low, mid, 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 low, mid, low. Got it. Okay. So we all agree, mid or low. Up special damage increased. Grounded up special knockback scaling increased. Aerial up special knockback scaling increased. Buffs or nerfs? Buffs. Very obvious buffs, right? Okay. So remind me again how we nerf low tiers and buff high tiers, right? That kind of falls apart a little bit, doesn't it? Whoops. Black Mage. Now, this one was funny because there are so many people that are like, frame one there, frame one there, frame one there. It's frame 2, you dumb. Startup is 1 frame. Just saying. Chibi Robo in point 2, low or high? So he's high now, but in point 2, he was a unanimous low tier. Okay. Neutral air second hit damage increased. Low down tilt base knockback increased. Forward air damage increased. Forward air angle higher because it's a combo move. Forward air knockback scaling decrease, so it combos longer. Certainly sounds like we're nerfing low tiers and buffing high tier. Right? See, I knew you would understand. Ichigo, high tier, low tier. High, top, mid, high. Got it. Dash attack is too strong. It's so OP. Please nerf it. Dash attack damage reduced. Dash attack base knockback reduced. Dash attack knockback growth reduced. Oh my god. Oh. It's almost like we listen.
I finally began to break the SF29B competitive scene late into its time span, literally months before beta's release. The general gist of what I was doing was getting into the eyes of the better players in that time.
Okay. Bitch! He ain't never placed high enough for anybody to care.
Ripped from Ichigo, a character
A character that went from high tier to top tier, apparently. But you were ripped from him. Got it? Okay.
I told myself I'd never drop, even for the life of me. I ended up dropping him for good with point 3's arrival. I have to rely on the general...
Oh. Okay, but didn't he just say... I'm pretty sure he just said point 3's antics. And he said that he had to drop Ichigo in point 3. We nerfed a move that was problematic in point 3. So he couldn't run, dash attack, run, dash attack, run, dash attack all day. He's like, oh, I finally had to drop him when point 3 came out.
People who have left the community with point 3's antics or bullshit of the game for me to stay alive, i.e. high tiers or port. The game
Anyway,
has way too many problems on its own for me to all say in one video, but that's for one that I can actually split later on down the line. If you haven't seen my other videos, I went on a rampage bashing the TOR's union for shutting down tournaments, much to the displeasure of Strife, who is the main head of BR, as well as the TOR's union. The union isn't the main reason, but plays a very big part on why the competitive scene is dying. What they intended to do, according to my understanding, is that they wanted to shut off ranked tours for a while so that the community can reflect on their behavior for alting in PTCs in many tours, as well as the general toxic behavior. They were confident that this would change things for the better. Sadly,
let me give him credit, because that's correct. That's a lot of, I feel like one of the major problems with what they were trying to do with TOR's union lockout is just that they didn't communicate like what their goal was. So since they never told anyone what they were doing, and it was just like a lockout randomly, and then weeks passed and they're like, oh, by the way, the reason we're doing this is because that was the problem. Anyway,
they were wrong. Players, now bored with nothing to do, began to leave the scene, whether it was in a last grand final goodbye catching the attention of many other players, or they decided to say nothing at all and just leave, letting their presence wither away to be forgotten.
This happens anytime, any community. People leave. It happens. Woe is me. The problem is, though, in this community, when people leave, they make it a spectacle. Like, oh my, I'm gonna leave. I've played SSF2 for 3 months and I quit. Goodbye to all of my friends. Ta-ta. Ta-ta. It's not that deep. Chill out. Chill out. And then you find them a month later alting or PTCing. Lunary. They never actually leave, but they make such a big ass spectacle out of the fact that they're leaving. And they don't leave. Hello.
Players like Kaios, Fash, River, and Prolific deciding either not to play the game anymore or leave the community altogether. This has been happening before with community's general toxic nature, which I've grown to ignore and normally once in a while.
Okay, so I think we're on use number 3 of the word toxic, but I'm pretty sure this video is like the most toxic thing I've ever watched. Just saying. Just saying.
I'll indulge in it. But I digress. Another reason is that the physical components of the game itself, the general misdirection and horrid balancing done by the majority of the
horrid balancing. Hold on, let's go back to the changelog. Lloyd is so OP. Someone please nerf. Forward smash, forward smash, forward smash, forward smash, dash attack, jab, 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 forward air, up air.
the characters, and this remains the devs' fault. I will not hold them 100% accountable though, because coding is very hard and takes a long time to reprogram with no bugs and repercussions. But
coding's not hard when you're balancing, because it's just like, gotta change this one number. Okay. Ship it. No, obviously there's testing involved sometimes. Or not, if it steals.
the amount of bad ideas allowed in and taken into stride is just simply ridiculous.
Okay, so he said we had a lot of bad ideas, but he liked point 2, and then when we nerfed Ichigo's dash attack, he's suddenly super pissed, and now we have bad ideas, but everything else was good. So are you insinuating that Ichigo's dash attack was a good idea?
Players have gotten fed up with it and have decided to just skip up and bounce. Yes, with the induction of Bowler reaching 10,000 subs, it shows the community is alive and kicking, but the competitive scene is what keeps people playing. It's the general drive of the community. When a casual gets absolutely massacred by someone who knows things they couldn't even fathom within the game, usually their competitive drive kicks in and they want to know more and get better. You can ask any competitive
Okay. I gotta take the headphones off for this. So, here's the problem with the competitive community right now. Okay? The problem is you don't culture the new players. You don't care about them. You avoid them. So, when I worked my ass off to get SSF2 added to Anther's Ladder, which caused a surplus of new players, I had to beg on my knees to get anyone to use it because they're like, oh, the randoms. There's so many randoms. Oh, the random. But you need to cultivate your future. You need to make sure that those new users have resources. You need to make sure that those new users have people to look up to that aren't making roast videos. You need to make sure that those new players feel welcomed, get a GG at the end of the match, and know who to look up to for each character to figure out how to get better. But we don't do that. We don't. And that is my single biggest problem, because we're sitting here making these dusty ass videos when we could be helping. We could be making guides like Bowler does. We could be documenting advanced techniques. We could be documenting great combos. We could be running tournaments, but we waste our time and energy on this.
I couldn't even accept the fact that the title of Best Ichigo at that time was snatched from me so abruptly from someone who just started, even though I barely had it to begin with. The competitive scene dies, so does the rest of the game.
All those dash
Obviously,
attacks not working anymore.
Follow suit, but I'm getting ready to leave as well. Life's starting. I'm getting ready to go off to college. I won't have as much time as I used to, so I told myself this. If the next should the version not meet expectations to anyone playing competitively, I will leave. For good. Never to be seen again by anyone that associates with the SF2 scene. Anything Smash Flash related, I will act as if it never existed. The void. I've said my dues.
This is what I mean. Gotta make it a big spectacle. Anyway, so then I'll come back a week later. So the reason this update is taking so long is because we want to make the competitive and the casual community happy, because we've been neglecting the casual community for so long. These stage hazards are not there. The final smashes are not there. Items. Well, we worked a lot on items for the initial beta release, but like we could do more. We're neglecting them to try and make you guys happy. And while that may work, that's not what my design philosophy is. We're supposed to find that happy medium where, in this area, where I can please both parties and add great content and make everyone happy, and then you guys have something that stands up for a couple months that we don't have to touch, we don't have to update, and we can focus on more content. Like when you like that, get your Pichu, get some other characters, get some stages, that works. Kind of like we did with the initial beta, because 9B was so awful at the time, and now we're rose-colored glasses, and we think it's the best thing ever. 9B's so jank. Nothing is punishable on Shield. This isn't balanced. But then we release beta, where things are punishable on Shield. Beta's so slow. And we fix things like player 2, 3, and 4's Shield coming out a frame late, and player 1's comes out a frame earlier than all the other players, and everyone's still 9B's so great. Like, I understand that it's divisive, that you can't just run around in an airplane all day, and you can't just abuse one or two moves that your character has that are like supremely overpowered, and you can just continue to use them over and over and win. Like, I know that's fun if you play at a lower level and you're not good. I get that. But you claim to be a competitive player. When we make things more challenging, more competitive, where you can't win by spamming things, I get a rant video. I'm just saying, like, hello? That was the major thing that I wanted to talk about. Also, the reason this is taking so long is because we've got a half of a fixed report already, and we're going to work on hopefully getting the other half done before we release this patch. I'm still not sure if Pichu will go in because we're putting all of our resources towards... Why is this shaking so much? We're putting all of our resources towards trades right now because I know that that's important to you guys. And I'm putting all my resources towards Final Smashers because that's important to the casual players. And that way, I can kind of fix what's wrong right now. And we can go back to not making rant videos that are based off of false pretenses. And we can enjoy this lovely game that we've worked 10 years on. And then, maybe down the road, I can work on something that I want to work on, which is not SSF2. Because honestly, hopefully it gets better after this new patch. Hopefully you guys will look at it with an open heart and quit repeating things that are completely false. Like, we nerf low tiers and we buff high tiers. Like, that's just not a thing. As I've showed you with the this. I've showed you that's not the case. Why do you keep saying it? And hopefully we'll stop pretending like the game is poorly balanced when I ask in SSF2 use Discord, what do you guys think are top 8 and bottom 8? And they're all like, well, Tails is number 1. And Martha's pretty good. Like, how can you claim that a game's balanced poorly if you don't know the status of the current version? Like, you don't know what characters are bad and what characters are good, but you claim it has bad balance. How does that make any damn sense? It doesn't. Anyway, that's all I got. See you guys later.